going to talk in this segment about grading. If this is your first high school art class, you're going to notice that things move a little bit more quickly than middle school. I've taught middle school, so I know firsthand that we tend to usually finish about 2 to 3 projects in a semester, and you can pretty much double that in a high school art class. The pace definitely moves a little bit quicker. A lot of that is dictated by how many standards we have to cover in this class for graduation. So you will notice that the pace is quick, and although homework isn't the norm, depending on how quickly you work, that can dictate how much beyond the class period time you're going to have to put in. So it is not outside of the norm, even in a normal year, non-COVID situation where we're in the classroom, for people to have to take things home occasionally. The same would apply in this situation as well. I can give you kind of time limits on how long I think things will take, but we all work at a different pace, and that is totally okay. I will tell you, as far as grading goes, and this is a West Art Department rule, not my rule, A's are reserved for those that hit it out of the ballpark. So they have creatively engaged the project or problem in a way that is not just meeting the standards. It is, they have taken it above and beyond. They've stretched, really put extra thought, extra creativity. It's one of a kind piece of artwork. B's and C's are going to be those that met the requirements, okay, but maybe didn't put as much of that extra in as the A people. Let's talk a little bit about how we break down grades, because this is probably different than middle school as well, or if you've never had an art class. 30% of your grade is based off classwork. Classwork would include any work in our sketchbooks, any art history type things, any class discussions, any critiques with peers, any worksheets, practice, anything that's practice. While it is graded on completion, it is not graded on creativity necessarily. This is the place where you practice the skill, where you get better at things. And in the process of getting better, if we're striving for perfection, that doesn't really leave us much room to learn. If we're putting that pressure on ourselves to be perfect when we're practicing, sometimes in art that doesn't always work out like we want it to. So while I do want you to take your time and be your best you when you're practicing, I also understand that sometimes we have to kind of go through a few not so hot sketches before we get to the really we're showing progress stuff. So any of that kind of work is going to be worth 30% of your grade, and it will be categorized as classwork. 60% of your grade is the project. So within each unit, you'll see that we build skills through classwork, and then we'll have a project, and think of the project like the performance in music where you show off what you've just learned. So you take all that practice and now you put it into a project and show off your best stuff. Projects are graded on creativity. They are graded on craftsmanship. They're graded on your focus to detail. Whether you've met all of the objectives, okay? Have we covered all of the course content to the best of our ability? There will always be rubrics, and I try and break my rubrics out to where A's all fall in the first excellent column, and then B's and so on. So while you can get an A in creativity, maybe you had a super creative idea, but maybe your craftsmanship wasn't as great, you can get kind of maybe a B or a C in craftsmanship. It all comes out when you average all of those together for the final grade on that project. But that's when you're looking at the rubric, I want you to kind of realize not maybe my overall grade was a B, but I got an A. I did an A quality in these standards. So it's gonna be kind of broken out like that. The final 10% of your grade is based off a final. We will have quizzes throughout each unit just to kind of make sure that you're keeping on track, and that all of this doesn't just get piled on you at the end of the semester. So the classes are all designed to be terraced, to where we build on skills over the course of the whole semester. So things may feel like they're starting off a little slower, and as we move throughout the semester, the pace is really going to start to pick up. The grace period. Let's talk about the grace period. So the grace period in all art class, well, I won't say all art classes at West. Some of the lower like foundations and level 1 classes have what's called a grace period. And grace period means we set a due date on projects only. This does not apply to classwork. Classwork must be turned in on the date that it's assigned, no questions asked. If it's late, it's a reduction of points. On projects, if we set let's just say we are setting the due date for our first project for September 30th. If you don't have the project completed by September 30th, I will enter a 0 in the grade book, but you still have 5 days, 5 class period days to complete the project without me reducing your grade when I do enter it in the grade book. Once the grace period ends at the end of those 5 days, then the grade starts reducing by 10% each day. So let's say, for example, it's due on September 30th. You had a really busy week and you didn't get your project finished on time. So you finish it, we'll do the first case scenario, 2 days into the grace period, and you turn it in. No problem. You did an awesome job on this project. It was A quality work. A goes in the grade book. Okay, let's look at a second scenario. Second student. Project was due on September 30th. They didn't turn it in. They let the grace period of 5 days go by, still didn't turn it in. They waited until October 30th to come back and turn this project in. At that point, it was a month late, and they lost 10% each day that it was late off whatever the grade would have been. So let's say they did B quality work to begin with. Each day after that, that grade starts dropping 10%, 10%, 10%. So it may go down as a 0 at that point because it's late and it didn't start off at maybe as high as what you had wanted to begin with. So that's kind of how that works. The moral of this story is turn things in on time. The grace period is designed to help you. It's designed to make sure that we give you a little bit of flexibility to manage your schedule. We're giving you 5 days of oops time to take care of business. But once that 5 days passes, that grade's going to start dropping. Okay? Let's talk really quickly about what to do if you have a late assignment. So let's come in here. If you decide to turn a project in late, everything must be turned into Schoology. Please do not email me late projects. They get lost. And we found that to be true last year with virtual. So what we've designed this year to kind of help with this, when you turn, you're going to go to the assignment, you're going to turn it in on Schoology, you're going to upload a picture, but you're also going to come here and you're going to fill out this late work submission form. So you're going to do 2 things when you turn a project in after the due date. I don't care if it's classwork or projects. Anything that's late is going to get this form connected to it. You're going to have to tell me which hour, what project, what the due date was, how many days late it was, and a reason why it was not turned in on time. This is a much easier way for me to go into this spreadsheet and see what I need to grade than through Schoology. In Schoology, it puts a tiny little mark next to projects that are not turned in, and it's very difficult to see. So it's easy for me to miss something if I just rely on Schoology. So that's where this form has come from, and it's to ensure that I get everything graded within a week after you turn it in and that I don't miss anything. So this is a have to. Please make sure that you fill this form out whenever you turn in anything late, and hopefully that doesn't happen very often. All right, I think that's it on grades. If you have any questions, post something in the discussion board at the top of our Schoology page so that everybody can benefit from the answer. Thanks.